Well, today, we're going to do something really special. We're going to do something really, really special today. I'm not going to give you, I think it's getting a little bit hot in here, but anyway, we're going to do something really, really special today. Let me get ready for this one, because I feel the need to, I feel that this is, it might get a little bit, sorry, Alexander, Fred, King, can you hold on to my cord, please? You're about that steals my stuff. There we go. So we're going to get into something really special today. No hints, no clues. No, you want to be starting something. No clues whatsoever. But we are, tonight is a special night. I don't know if you guys went to the cinema over the weekend, but there was a lot of tears in the cinema. There was a lot of dancing in the cinema, uncharacteristically. There was a lot of love in the cinema. There was a legend in the cinema, a child prodigy, who became the most famous singer the world has ever known. An absolute brilliant entertainer, who has his fair share of haters, but his haters were robustly conquered. But nevertheless, we're going to give them a platform tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about Michael. The movie Michael. And Michael's doing great things. That is actually now the best-selling musical biopic of all time. Really? On one weekend. Wow. NWA, doubled NWAs on one weekend. I'll come back to this for a second, my brother. I'm flowing from the survival scrolls. I'm flowing from the survival scrolls over here. I went to a cinema in Lee Valley in North London, which is like on the outskirts of North London. So you always get the cinemas near the Costco. It's just like all the big shops outside. They did 22 showings in one single day. 22. I am not making this up. I posted up and they were all sold out there. 22 showings in one single day. So what has happened is that, look, they know there's money to be made out of this right now. So I think Michael Jackson personally is worthy of like The Crown, and it went on. Michael's worthy of that. That's what we need from Michael. Michael needs like 10 series, 10 seasons, 18 episodes a season. He would be and everything else. But for now, who's got the film is the best seller of all time. But tonight, we have two people from opposite sides of the Michael Jackson tradition to give their polar opposite 90-second reviews before we come back into the room and have a discussion about it. We have renowned Michael Jackson hater, who gave the film a 1-star review in a black publication nonetheless, which in my view is blasphemous, and we should have our belts off as a Canadian right here, right now. We should be shoe beating this guy right now, but we love him. He's our brother, for better for worse. We're gonna start off. So we've got two people. We've got Michael Morgan. Give up for Michael Morgan. Michael's a rider. Michael showed up here last month and set up Zach Polanski to his face. I'm looking at what the hell is going on? I'm there thinking, what's this? And then suddenly the poor Zach Polanski's looking at me. I'm looking at Zach, I'm thinking, what is this? It's like Michael, Nadine, all these guys or so. They set up poor Zach Polanski. And I'm just there looking at, oh my God, it looks like I'm part of the coup plot over here. That's how people like me end up in prison and Peter Mandelson doesn't. Because people believe that I'm in the part of the coup plot. I'm just completely innocent. I know nothing. I wasn't even obeying orders. I didn't even know what the orders were. Anyway, on the other hand of this tradition, we'll come to you the second one. You're going to launch off. We'll give you a moment to make sure you're calm enough for the storm that's coming. On the other hand, we have one of the world's most renowned, foremost Michael Jackson experts. A man who really knows what he's talking about. A man who, if you saw his bedroom wall when he was little, you would know he was bad. I didn't rehearse that. I just came down. I'll do better than that if I rehearsed it. Samar Habib's also here. Give it up for Samar. Michael, step forth. So we're going to do things a little bit different tonight. Normally we swear people in with a book, but tonight we're doing it a little bit different. We're going to swear in with your favorite Michael Jackson ad-lib. And anybody who wishes to make a point of blackness, you have to just make your favorite. You have to present your favorite Michael Jackson ad-lib to swear in. So please, let's say your favorite Michael Jackson ad-lib, and you've got 90 seconds.
Come on! Okay, first off, I've been given 90 seconds, yeah? I want everybody to put their hands up who is a Michael Jackson fan. Everybody put your hand up who is a Michael Jackson fan. Now, I just want to bring your attention to my white glove. Did you see my learned brother with the rhinestones? You can tell he's not from South London. Give it up for South London. But keep your hands up if you're a Michael Jackson fan and have seen the movie. Keep your hands up if you're a Michael Jackson fan and seen the movie. And loved it. Okay, right. I went to see Michael Jackson, or Michael, twice. There was a reason for that. I came first as a fan. I thought the cinematography, the photography, the acting, I mean, Jafaar Jackson was amazing, right? Woo! Give it up for Jafaar Jackson, right? That was the fan in me, watching this and loving it. Leaving the theatre as though I'd been to a 2-hour concert, when in fact, that is what I saw as a critic. I've been a film critic for 20 years. I've worked for Touch, I've worked for The Voice, I've worked for iNews, I've worked for the Metro. Now, what I saw as a critic was gaslighting. This was a cinematic blue pill. This was us basically being coated with hagiography. Us being coated with the deification of a once living God. And I had a problem with that because what I saw was not a warts and all portrayal of a man who was deeply flawed. What I saw was perfection. What I saw was what the family wanted you to see, and that is more coins in the coffers. What I saw upset me to a point where I felt as though I was in an alternate universe. Those of you who've seen it, sorry, I've got 90 seconds. Those of you who've seen it, I'll speed it up. Those of you who've seen it, now, did you notice there were several glaring omissions? Where was Janet Jackson? This is arguably one of his most famous siblings who had quite a profound effect. Listen, I say all that to say all this. I feel if you're going to tell a story of such a complex character and a man who was a genius when it came to music, but was also deeply flawed, do not gaslight us by asking us to look over there at a 2-hour concert. Now, I want you all to see this film again if you haven't seen it more than once, because it will ring true what I'm saying. And I'll tell you why. You went in there, and you all admitted it to start with, as what? Fans. Thank you.
I just meant to make it clear that it is not compulsory to applaud anything that you hear today. So you don't have to. Don't feel obliged to applaud anyone you say. In the interest of balance, also, we have to get up. No, I'm joking, Michael. That was good. That was a good slander of the late Michael there. So yeah. Sorry, you need 30 seconds, don't you? So I've got 30 seconds extra time. Samar, just give you a split second. We're going to. Oh, please, Priscilla, please, quickly. You've got 30 quick seconds or so before. Please.
Yeah. Right, so I hear you. I haven't seen it. But I will go and see it as a fan. Even if it's a 2-hour concert, his music, his legacy, all what I remember and what I think of is that his music is the tapestry of my home. So for that alone, I'm happy to go see it. It's not, for me, it's actually not that deep. We all know how complex he was. But as a fan, you go there for the memories. You know where you were when you saw Slip. You know where you were when you saw him do the moon dance for the first time. How that was. That's why I'm going to do.
Woo! There we go. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Priscilla. Round of applause for Priscilla for those very strong, brilliant words of immense integrity. And accuracy, dare I say. Should we give it up next for one of the world's leading Michael Jackson experts, Samar Habib. Samar, please. Let's get you in. Samar, we're going to swear you in with your favourite.
My favourite Michael Jackson ad-lib is from a song called Tabloid Junkie, which the chorus goes, I can't sing it, I'll try to sing it. It's just because you read it in a magazine or see it on a TV screen doesn't make it factual. And the ad-lib is, the Sunday Times is not a friend of mine. Which is pertinent, bearing in mind all the bullshit reviews we've been hearing about. I've written, I had to write everything because I have to represent 2 billion Michael Jackson fans. So I can't let anything slide. So first things first, I'm going to say that facts, as we all know, don't care about anyone's feelings. Facts don't lie, people do. I'm going to try to rush through this because I know I've only got a little bit of time. So with that in mind, I need to say that Michael Jackson was probably the most investigated private American citizen in American legal history. Investigated for almost 20 years by a range of agencies from the FBI, LAPD, Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office and the DCFS. He was then put on trial in front of the world, because when we're talking about complex and like all this kind of flawed stuff, he was then put on trial in front of the world with a jury of his peers and he was found not guilty. He was found not guilty because the evidence against him was so bogus and so ludicrous that no one in their right mind would have believed it. Claims from previous settled cases were allowed to be heard during that court case. So when people talk about Michael Jackson paid off accusers, while evidence from those cases were allowed to be heard in his 2005 case, your tabloid press won't tell you that. The only problem, the jury didn't believe them either. And everyone in the 12-man jury unanimously voted not guilty. Does anyone know how many times Michael Jackson was found not guilty? How many counts there were and how many times he was found not guilty? Does anyone know the number? Michael, you know the number?
11 counts, sir.
14 times he was found not guilty in that court. 14. And anyone thinks that you're going to be accused and found and charged 14 times and found not guilty 14 times because you paid off a jury or whatever, must be living in cloud cuckoo land. I have to say all that because there are still people in this room who will say that. Like, well, you know, you can still be found not guilty 14 times and still be guilty because, you know, O.J. Simpson. Because I get that as well. So please don't talk about things you don't know about until you actually know about those things. And definitely don't write about things that you don't know about because it's quite embarrassing. History is long and people will remember those bullshit articles that people write about him. Just to finish on that trial, does anyone know the name, the matriarch of the family who accused Michael Jackson? Does anyone know the name? We're all told to believe these people, but no one actually knows who they are. Janet Arvizo is the name of the woman who was the matriarch of the family, who was convicted of fraud weeks after Michael Jackson was exonerated because she was a serial fraudster. And weeks after they were trying to extract millions of dollars out of Michael Jackson, she was convicted of welfare fraud. So that's why I'm always really concerned about people talking about Michael being a flawed character. He was the victim of bogus accusations and allegations. Truth is important. This is very important, whether the person is dead or alive. Black lives matter, not just if they're poor and not just if they're destitute, but also if they're rich and they're being victimized and subjected to a mass media bullying campaign and they're the subject of and victims of false and bogus allegations. Black lives matter then as well. I don't want to get personal about it, but it does piss me off reading what people then write about without any knowledge. Regarding the film, I watched it last night. I'm not a fan of the Michael Jackson estate. However, from any vantage point, that film was a phenomenal piece of audio-visual entertainment. Absolutely, without question. Anyone claiming otherwise is lying. Simple as that. Some of the live performance scenes were as good a cinematic experience as you'll ever have. At our screening last night, the entire audience was singing along to Human Nature and waving their arms in the air. That's what the bullshit reviews don't tell you. They don't tell you any of that stuff. People leave their homes and go to the cinema to feel something. And that's why the Michael film has broken box office records around the world, because no bullshit reviews are going to tell audiences how they feel. They know how they feel. Yes, there are issues with accuracy, but not the issues that you call them. Not in the way that Michael has told you about. I absolutely see the issues that Paris Jackson raises. There are legitimate concerns about accuracy for sure, but to sit there and to write an article, and I've read your review, you didn't mention Jafaar Jackson's performance. You mentioned it here, but you didn't mention it in your article. And it's I think that's Oscar worthy, his performance. I think Coleman Domingo's performance was Oscar worthy. Thank God the general public don't care about the reviews because they've voted with their feet $220 million in the first weekend. And again, the bogus reviews expose desperate levels of clickbait and how desperate media outlets are to tell you to ignore the evidence of your own eyes and ears. Say the film is good, you'll get 5 fans who will thank you. Lie and claim the film is absolute rubbish with no redeeming features. 500 Michael Jackson fans will turn up on your website. That's clickbait bullshit, and it's the kind of thing you'd expect from Hadley Freeman. And with that, I would urge everyone to go watch the film and enjoy it as a piece of cinema, as an audiovisual spectacle as it is. I want to see little black, brown, and white kids wearing their Michael Jackson t-shirts with pride and their white gloves with pride. The man was an absolute hero and a warrior, and he had to go through such bullshit, false allegations, which he was exonerated of. People need to remember that. And his fans will not allow his memories to be smeared. Thank you very much.
Well, Samar, tell us how you really feel. Boy, so Michael and Samar, we're going to keep you two on separate sides of the room tonight. So, because the last bit I want is some Michael Jackson related beef in this room or so. I don't want the Beat It video, because even Michael kept the Bloods in the Crips. I actually know that's true. That Michael actually really did bring the Bloods and the Crips together. That's apparently why he wore the red jacket and the blue T-shirt in the actual video. So he had the cinema. I was laughing. I thought this is just Hollywood. And it turns out it was actually true. He brought hardcore bangers together. But anyway, what I was saying is this, right? I want to ask a couple of things because we might come to this in a bit more detail. We've got to move on. We've got about 5 quick minutes for all this. What is so funny? Okay. Oh, no, I won't do that. I won't do that. Thank you for your timekeeping, my brother. No stereotypes affirmed there. Thank you to both of you. Thank you. Michael, thank you very much. Samar, thank you very much. But I do want to say this, right? That there's one part of it. I'm going to speak to my. We're going to talk a lot about mental health tonight. So there's a couple of things that really jump off the page. Not about mental health itself, but one thing I want to ask, maybe the room. 2 things I want to ask. One, and maybe we don't have enough time. Maybe we'll go into this in a bit more detail in weeks to come. I think I had a portrayal of Joseph Jackson in particular, who was a patriarch. Was Joseph Jackson just the black equivalent of a tiger man? Or was he... I'm trying to think of a standard of brutality of parenting that actually exceeds what Joseph Jackson was portrayed as. But I don't know, part of me just looks at him, I think to myself, as a black dad. He was a guy who had 7 sons. Actually, not more than 7 sons, but I don't know how many sons did he have?
6 sons, 1 who died.
But no, that's to Catherine. Because he was busy outside too. He was busy. Joseph was... Okay, no, I actually thought there's more than that too. Okay, maybe I got it wrong. But Joseph Jackson, the key point I want to make this right is that for my black dads here in particular, so do you feel comfortable with portraying Joseph Jackson, a black patriarch, who's somebody who pulled up his family from absolute dirt of poverty in Gary, Indiana, which the only other famous person to come from Gary, Indiana is actually Freddie Gibbs, who has some of the funniest stories about Michael Jackson you'll ever hear in your life, actually. For Michael Jackson and Freddie Gibbs' dad were rival child prodigies, and Freddie Gibbs, Michael Jackson kept brushing him away, and Freddie Gibbs is still bitter to this day, but it's actually quite funny. But I do think of how Joseph Jack was portrayed there. I think to myself, was it worthy of this? Let's go to you, Tops. Let's go to your blacker than self now. And we need to hear your favourite Michael Jackson ad-lib before you go. And we have to keep it short because we're going to run out of time, please.
My favourite
Michael Jackson ad-lib, yep. That is too easy. Okay, go on, let's hear it.
So,
can you step up? Yes, you do.
Okay, so I have seen the film, and I think to answer your question, I actually think the portrayal of Joseph Jackson, I thought it was very mild.
Yeah.
If you read the accounts from his own children about what their upbringing was like, he was an abusive piece of shit.
Hold on. So, point to blackness.
He was a tyrant.
Your dad's a Yoruba man.
No.
That doesn't justify it. Your dad's a Yoruba man born in the 40s or 50s, right?
Okay.
Yes or no?
Hold
on. We're not talking about abuse. We're not talking about abuse here. No, I'm not trying to...
I want to see where you're going with this.
I want to see this. Hold on. Because are we placing today's standard of child rearing upon the 40s and 50s?
Yeah.
Are we placing today's standard of child rearing? Because if you got ass whipping for your parents, put your hand up in the air.
You are.
If you got spanked by your parents, put your hand up.
You were abused.
My mum, God bless her, she would look like Joseph Jackson in the Nels Adams story. Are you with me? So yeah, please.
Yes, the way that some of our parents and their parents were raised was standard for that time.
Yep.
Was it abusive? Yes. Right?
Could be.
And
Two things can be true, yeah.
But there are varying degrees of abuse, right? And abuse is abuse, but there are some that are way more horrific than others. And some of the stories that Michael himself spoke about and the other Jackson children spoke about, they massively suffered under Joseph, right? So because all these children became global superstars and they've raked in millions of dollars and all the rest of it, people could argue that Joe did what had needed to be done. No, he did not. He abused those children. And for some people who want to believe LaToya, he also sexually abused some of his children.
I was aware of that. I was not aware of that until first of all.
Whether you would like to believe it or not.
I
think she did give an interview many, many years ago. I think she did take it back.
Yeah, but LaToya,
there were accusations.
Point of blackness.
Yeah.
LaToya was notorious for that.
No, but point of blackness.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a Michael Jackson expert.
Hold on, that's the truth. Hold on. They looked at, okay, but Samar, you know better.
LaToya Jackson was married, forcibly married to a mobster, basically, and who was physically assaulting and beating her to give press conferences and give interviews where she was slandering and slating her family on the proviso that if you don't do it, we're going to kill your brother. That's what, in her own words, we know that to be the case. It does. I mean, listen, my actual opinion about it is, because I saw what you posted on Instagram, which was a really interesting point, I think, and it's not just the portrayal of Joseph. It was a portrayal. It crosses two things because I'm a massive boxing fan, as you know. So when Joseph sits down with Don King at the fireplace, and they're portrayed as these horrible, scheming black businessmen, when we know what Michael felt about Sony Music and the lawyers that he, in years later, who he believed were conspiring against him, and who did he call on at the end, towards the end of his life? There were post-it notes on his bedroom wall. He was writing notes. Call Joseph. He'll know what to do. He'll know how to get me out of this. So yes, all of that. He could well be abusive, but at the trial, John Branca wasn't there. He was holding Joseph Jackson's hand.
Can I make a point? Can I make a point?
Hold on, sorry. I feel like when we talk about Michael, we all suddenly lose all reason. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean by we lost all reason?
I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
Joseph, by anyone's standard, Joseph was abusive to those children.
Hold on. Point of blackness.
But it's okay because he produced Michael Jackson.
Point of blackness. Don't applaud that. How dare you, Albie? Anyway, let's say, right? Hold on, let's come back to it, right? I'm just saying that. Are we transporting 2026 enlightened Nels Abish?
Okay.
No, hold on. Let's get a microphone to us here. And we need to hear your favorite Michael Jackson ad-lib before you slander Michael.
You're gonna be annoyed because it's the same one.
No, you can't have another one. Then give us our microphone back.
Jamal!
Good. Off we go.
Okay. So you say we're transporting our modern ideals back into the past.
Yes.
Do you want to look
I didn't say that. I said I
You're
questioned.
suggesting it. Right,
I
the
question.
reparations debate right now.
Yeah.
What's one of the pushbacks? Slavery wasn't illegal at that time, so therefore, should reparations be due for something that was perfectly
I would personally not compare child rearing, which sometimes can be a little bit less than endearing. Hold on, hold on. Let me die before you bury me. And you buried me many times. Let me to die. I personally wouldn't compare. I feel really embarrassed wearing this glove right now. Never has my hand felt heavier. Never has my hand felt heavier in my life. But we're meant to have moved on from this by now. But I wouldn't compare child rearing. Child rearing, which sometimes actually for every single parent, there's no such thing as a perfect parent. There's no such thing. That child rearing sometimes it's a spectrum in terms of how pretty and how beautiful it can be also, and sometimes also discipline, which always has its methods of exhibiting self. I wouldn't compare it to slavery.
Point of blackness. Wow. I can help you, man.
Who are you? Where can you help you?
I can help you.
Come to the middle, bro. Come to the middle. Let's see your face. Let's see you embarrass yourself. He's already sweating. Let's see. We're in this together. Please, let's hear this.
Okay. Michael Jackson. Who's bad?
Yeah.
Okay, two things. One on the issue of slavery being illegal.
Yeah.
there was a famous judgment. I can't remember the name of it, but it was Lord Mansfield who famously in the, sorry. It was a case of Somerset, but it was Lord Mansfield who. Is that Peter?
Yes.
Ah, how are you, Peter?
Yeah, you can't bamboozle us because you studied law. We got Peter Herbert here.
Fantastic.
Please keep going.
No, Judge Peter Herbert.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he effectively said in England slavery was illegal. So by extension you can argue for reparations because there were English citizens who were partaking in an illegal trade in England in much the same way that money laundering or bribing foreign officials works today.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the first point. So that's you slightly out of
Gotcha.
the water.
Did you hear that? There we go. Checkmate. Please go ahead.
Secondly, on the behaviour point, my perception of why black people, if you like, perpetuate violence on their kids comes from colonialism and how we were treated. And we are so traumatized that we've passed that on to our kids. And it's a really hard thing to actually stop it and say, no, actually, we can talk about it. And the reason I say so is the people who, so I come originally from Sierra Leone, that's where my parents from.
Happy Independence Day, bro.
Thank you, that was yesterday, thank you.
A bit late, Alessandro. But please sorry, please go ahead.
And
Yeah.
Sierra Leone was divided into two, if you like. There was what was called the Protectorate, which had the indigenous peoples, and then there was Freetown, the Freetown area, which is all about where the administration took place. And so the Creoles adopted all the British colonial mores, and they beat their children. And the Protectorate, who were the indigenous people, have what you call palaver huts in the villages. Palaver huts.
Yeah.
It's where you have palaver.
Yeah.
And you talk until everything is resolved. And you don't get the same degree of violence. And that's my experience.
Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we're going to really quick because I just want to touch on two quick more points, please. Your point of blackness and your favourite Michael Jackson ad-lib.
Billie Jean.
That is not an ad-lib, that's a chorus. Do we have to call it? Oh my days, please go ahead.
Okay.
Please stand up, come to the middle of it to get
Yeah. I guess my point of blackness is that how do we feel about other characters who've got young stars in the making, people like Richard Williams with the Venus the Williams sisters? Is it to do with the fact that these are pushy parents when it comes to something like sport or music, etc., that they're being extra tough on their kids? I'm just asking.
But you make a good point because Richard Williams was vilified. Of course he was.
Yeah, he was.
Joe Jackson was vilified. LeVar Ball was vilified.
So I'm asking, is it fair? Or is it that they were pushy parents in that sort of arena?
But at the same time, too, that's what the point we're making, too, that the Tiger Mum is lauded. The Asian Tiger Mum is lauded at the exact same time. So it's just like, that's just
Yeah, so why the other standards for black men then?
Point of blackness.
Yeah, sorry, we're going to run through this really quickly because we're well over it. Sorry, my was about to say something. Sorry, Alexander.
The ad-lib is and it's from the last verse of Off the Wall. The song. Alright, so
Alexander, come to me.
yeah. So I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, not as super fan as you, but and what I think is, look, at the end of the day, his father was a very narcissistic individual. His father was very, very abusive, was almost psychotic in his abuse. Look, it's one thing rearing your children and being a disciplinarian. It's another thing beating them savagely because they miss a dance step. It's another thing opening up their window and scaring them with a mask on because you don't want them to go outside the house. It's another thing when you're making your children feel like they're going to vomit because of your presence. You have to understand, you know, your caregivers set the foundation for your mental stability long in the future.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson is a well-known fact. He had essentially every disorder going: eating disorders, appearance disorders. He had real social anxiety. There was a lot of problems he had as a human being. And whilst we're very happy with the music he gave us, the fact of the matter is, a lot of the severity of the mental disorders he suffered as a human being was down to the poor parenting of his father. Look, I'm not denying that his father pushed him to success. Many people have been that, but if there's one thing pushing someone to success, it's another thing striking someone physically. You have to understand that when we kind of talk about, oh, our parents beat us, that shit wasn't good. It's not good to strike people repeatedly, physically. It hurts you mentally, but you know what happens, right? When you hit a child repeatedly, they get taught that they are worthless. It tells them that they mean nothing. It causes a deep validation complex, you understand?
Yep.
You can't be beaten repeatedly and feel good about yourself.
No,
So
but Alessandro,
ultimately,
point-
Michael was damaged as a human being psychologically by what he went through. I'm not denying that his success was great for himself and the world, but it is undeniable that if not for what his dad did to him, he would have been a far more stable individual. That's my point.
I got you. But my point, the point that the opposing point would remain that element of which now, Alessandro, I agree with you. I would hit child stigma. I wouldn't hit, obviously. That doesn't need to be said. But the key thing is this: is that it does boil right back down to elements of which 2026 enlightenment, bit more enlightened times. And I completely get what my sister says at the beginning. And you are right. You're right. It would be hypocritical not to draw the parallel between two things. But it does present the issue once again too that within that time, even into the 80s, the 90s possibly or so, that it wasn't unusual. I didn't know about the bird scaring people and the bird just sticking a mask on his head and that sort of stuff. That sounds psychotic. Maybe that sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Pull a black
Can
nose.
please, can you come through to the middle, please? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Brilliant. So please. Yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say, so when we're talking about abuse, and you were saying about the context of like, we're talking about the past, and we're talking about 2026 mentality and how we view things now, we can understand why those people thought that way, and understand it's so wrong and bad to abuse your children. But that's all we're having a conversation. We're not retroactively going, he needs to be put in prison. We need to understand how we have these conversations, and we don't keep repeating patterns. That's what we want to do.
That's the great thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we are repeating patterns.
But when
And I think
we
that's the-
time,
I think- I think that-
but you were
that
doing it
might be-
earlier when you were trying to justify it by saying like, you're not Yoruba, is your dad not Yoruba?
But that's not.
Why?
That's
Exactly.
not
Because we keep doing it.
That's not justifying. What I was trying to
No, but we
what I'm
keep
trying to
doing
do
the
is
same way
what I'm trying to do is contextualize what happened at the
You
time. That
contextualize it
if
and
you
then
were
it's-
if you were making the exact same film about Tops yourself, or not yourself actually, you're a different generation.
Okay.
Tops or maybe not even Tops, myself, my generation or so, that you would find that you were making the exact same film about Nell Zabby or so. My mum, who's your grandmum, as it would happen or so, would be Joe Jackson. Mark my words. Fair enough, she wouldn't be there with a mask on or anything else. But I'm pointing out that the transposition of the morality of today onto that time was a very, that's what I'm just thinking of. That's what we're trying to debate here. It's not about abusing children. It's the definition, the standard of what is considered abuse then versus now is where there's a slight difference here. So
I think we could do it for a lot of things.
we could do, and we have done it for a lot of things.
Because I'm going to say, because when I was hearing someone saying reparations,
Yeah, absolutely.
a more recent one
Yeah.
is marital rape. Marital rape was not legal until 1991 in this country.
We agree. Yeah.
Are we now justifying that? Are we just saying that's retroactively different?
No, nobody's
No,
justifying
that's the
anything.
point. I think we can't keep doing this. We keep looking at the past and suggesting like, oh, they're different, there's different contexts. We need to understand, we need to look back and understand it. We're not trying to put anyone in prison. We're not saying that they're retroactively
dead.
doing it. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
So I think we can have these discussions.
Sorry. Somebody's.
So we can have these discussions retroactively
Yeah.
and make sure we're actually having.
I think that's it. Sorry, but this is meant to be a 5-minute discussion or so. It's gone on to about half an hour already. Like that. And we've got so much to get through. I'm going to wrap this up really quickly. One final thing that came out on the internet was about Michael Jackson. And you mentioned about mental health and Michael Jackson. We're going to come and touch on mental health in a bit more detail with black people when we come to our Kanye discussion, which is about to start in a couple of moments. Does anybody think Michael Jackson, because some of that's kept emerging on the internet, I don't know if there's a psychologist here, but it's now emerging and people look at it and starting to think, wonder if Michael Jackson may have been autistic. Again, something that we didn't understand too well or study too well at the time, but have a much better understanding of now. And that's pretty much what a lot of people, so again, we take a look at some of his patterns of behavior or social danger or knowing how things would work. When you listen to his lawyer, it was Tom Mesereau, for example. I watched about a 90-minute video of him this morning, and it was pretty interesting how he was describing it. It's something that you just see a lot of people are mentioning on the internet time and time again, that Michael, and if you meet autistic children, for example, it's actually a very unique, I don't know how many of you have, but again, my daughter's class, for example, I would walk inside, I'll drop my daughter off, and she'd say, oh, hello, Naomi, Dad. I'll say hello, she'd say, your birthday's in 212 days' time. And I looked at her for myself, no, well, how do you know my birthday is? Number two, how do you know so-and-so moved times away? And then I'll see her another time or so, she'll be like, oh yeah. It's your wife's birthday in about 157 days' time, and it's your birthday in XYZ amount of days' time. And then she'll draw pictures and show my date of birth on top of it. And I think, so thank God you're not Nigerian, because you never know. I mean, you'd be a great fraudster. But you're not. But sorry, I'm just joking. I'm joking, Alessandro. I'm joking, Tops. I can feel the Eurobars are getting their spears ready. One final quick point blank just for you. Yeah, please. Yeah. Sorry, Samar. Yeah.
I absolutely believe Michael was on the spectrum. I should say, though, however, I was at Prince tribute show that was put on by a company called Autism Rocks, and Autism Rocks was the last concert Prince ever did in London was for the charity Autism Rocks, and he called them and he said he wanted to do a free charity event for them because he had always believed he was on the spectrum, but it had never really been diagnosed.
As in this Prince or Michael?
Prince the singer. So all the kind of oddball kind of conversations people have and interviews they give about Prince turning up to certain events and like saying off-key things, suddenly it all seems to make a bit more sense. And Michael was very, very similar, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was on the spectrum. He's never been officially diagnosed. Yeah. Absolutely wouldn't have surprised me if he was ADHD. Especially if you look at what happens in the film, where he becomes hyper kind of focused and he had that tendency to be kind of hyper fantasize things like Peter Pan and that kind of stuff, where these things became real to him. That's a big kind of symptom of ADHD.
Interesting. Is anybody disputing this? Or not you again. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Are you a psychologist?
It's fine.
Okay, so it's important to take a psychologist's perspective here. So yeah.
So the only thing I'd say.
Sorry, one second. Can you just come in and can you let us know your favourite Michael Jackson ad lib, please?
My.
I can give you one.
Go on, give me one.
Remember the time. Shut up. Which is just classic. Alessandro, you felt that in the heart, didn't you? Please, go on. That's my gift to you. Yeah?
The only point I was going to make is that trauma can also manifest, these kinds of behaviours. So that fantasy land is splitting off, dissociating from the pain of the world that you live in. So trauma could also be a very interesting explanation for why he was in the world in the way that he was, which would fit very much with his father and the treatment of his father.
Thank you very much. You're going to come in very handy tonight. Thank you so much. Round of applause. And we have a prize here. So Michael Samar, we've got a Michael Jackson glove. Who do we think is most worthy of winning the Michael Jackson glove tonight? Tops. Who do we name the person? Just call out. Who do you think is most worthy of winning the Michael Jackson? Who do we say? Tops. So Samar. So we've got who? Sorry, who? Oh my God! The reparations lady over here. We've got West London Kemi over here. We've got Dustin Kemi, we've got West London Kemi over here, that's the reparations. We've got Tops over here, and then who else? We've got Michael. So the nominees are, we've got West London Kemi, I'm joking, Elemi. That's a useful name. We've got Elemi over here, Elemi over here. We have Samar, of course. We have Tops, and we have Michael. Should we go one by one? Who thinks Michael should win the Michael glove? Who thinks Tops should win Michael's glove? Who thinks Samar should win Michael's glove? Who thinks Elodie should win Michael's glove? I'm going to throw it in the air. Whoever wants it can just catch it. I don't know. I'm going to leave it here. You guys can fight over it at the end of this. I don't know. I really don't. Alright. I'm just going to throw this in here. I'm going to do it like a wedding thing. Whoever it goes to, it goes to. There we go. Conscious pilot. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That was meant to be a 5-minute segment that became the best part of 45 minutes. So thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about Kanye. Talk about Kanye West. We're going from Michael Jackson to Kanye. Michael, are you leaving? Oh my God, we've annoyed Michael. So Okay. We'll see you in a split second. I'll give it a shout. Thank you. Michael, bless you. Thank you. Right.